Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog. Today, we're off to Barcelona and I'm taking you along for the whole journey. Come with me as we spend 3 unforgettable days here. We're going to be trying amazing food, visiting iconic landmarks and making the most of everything this incredible city has to offer. Let's get started. Before we get into it, I just wanted to make a quick note about how you can get into the city from the airport. When you get off your flight, you want to be looking for signs to the Renfe train. This train will take you to Barcelona Sants in about 20 minutes, from where you can get a city metro to get to your hotel. On day 1, our first stop was Parc Güell. You want to take the metro to Balcarca station for the most convenient walk to the park. Coming out of the station, you want to head left and uphill. Bear in mind it is quite steep, but there are stairs that you can climb towards the park. As you climb, you will be greeted with stunning views of the city behind you. In the distance, we could even see breathtaking views of the church on Mount Tibidabo, which we would visit later on in the day. Your entrance to Parc Güell will depend on your ticket, but make sure to follow Google Maps as it is easy to get lost here. We entered at the Carretera del Carmel entrance. Parc Güell gets very busy very quickly, so we recommend booking the earliest slot to enter. We took a guided tour first, before we spent some time on our own wandering around the park to see more. Parc Güell is one of Gaudi's greatest works, and being situated above the city, it offers stunning panoramic views. Our first stop was the viaducts. There are high, middle and lower viaducts at Parc Güell that together form a 3-kilometre network of roads that allowed carriages to travel in the park at the time and are a great photo spot today. The next stop on the tour was the Gaudi House Museum. However, it is worth mentioning that this is not included in the cost to enter the park. It served as Antoni Gaudi's primary residence between 1906 and 1925, and now it is a museum where you can explore the well-preserved spaces where Gaudi lived and designed, including his bedroom and his study. Next, you'll visit the Greek Theatre, the most photographed spot in all of Parc Güell, and also the busiest. The views over Barcelona are stunning, and you can also admire the 360-foot-long serpentine bench. There are more viaducts in this part of the park, and these were actually my favourite throughout the whole park, so make sure to spend some time here and take some photos. We then headed straight on ahead and began to climb uphill again. We reached a viewpoint called the Three Crosses, from where you could see expansive views of the surroundings. We even saw the Sagrada Familia, perhaps the most iconic destination in Barcelona, in the distance. Carrying on in the same direction, we stumbled upon this house, Casa, also designed by Antoni Gaudi, which was very unexpected since we hadn't seen it online anywhere, but it was actually one of my favourite buildings that I saw during this trip. We soon rejoined the high viaduct, from where we could see the rest of the park below us, and indeed the whole of Barcelona. This was probably my favourite view of the whole park. I especially liked this stunning view of the Gaudi House Museum, peeking out from behind the trees, with the rest of Barcelona in the background. I also really enjoyed this panorama of the Greek Theatre from above, as well as the viaducts below us. We then took the stairs to head underneath the Greek Theatre. Here, Gaudi was inspired by classic architecture, but put his own spin on the columns by building them on a slant instead of vertical. While you're underneath the theatre, be sure to look up and find the octopus design on the ceiling. At the front of the park, you can find 2 buildings, originally used as the porters' lodges. However now, the one to the left is the Barcelona History Museum, and the one to the right acts as a gift shop. From the gift shop window, you can see the stairs leading up to the Greek Theatre, and the mosaic-covered Eldrac lizard on the second landing of the staircase, one of the most photographed features in the park. We then paid a visit to the museum, where you can learn about the history of many buildings designed by Gaudi as well as other architects in the city. Although it's very crowded, it's worth spending a few minutes here on the staircase taking photos and admiring the view. I especially like the mosaic-covered side walls as they provide a great backdrop for a photo. And with that, our time in Park Güell came to an end. For lunch, we decided to head to this vegan restaurant called Quinoa Bar. The menu was very extensive, paused to read, and we ordered a lot of food, and all of it was very healthy as well as delicious. From there, we walked to the Gràcia train station, making sure to stop off at this ice cream shop to grab their famous lavender ice cream before taking the S1 train to the station where we could grab the funicular to the top of the mountain. From here, board the funicular, which only takes 2 or 3 minutes to take you to the upper station, Valvidrera Superior. When you disembark from the funicular, take a few minutes to enjoy the breathtaking views over Barcelona before you decide whether you want to take the bus up to the church or walk there. We decided to walk, and the path was fairly easy, although uphill in parts, and easy to follow. Just make sure you have it up on Google Maps. The view was also stunning the entire way, and soon we were able to see the church in front of us. Soon we reached the top of the mountain, and while the church had been stunning from a distance, it was even more breathtaking and detailed up close. It is free to enter the church, and the interiors were even more colourful and beautiful, and so I highly recommend seeing the inside of the church too. Besides the church, there is a lot more to do up here, including many carnival rides that looked incredibly fun. We opted to get some churros with hot chocolate and enjoy them while admiring the view over the city. Then, we retraced our steps, walking back to the station and taking the funicular down, and then we took the train to Poble España, where we walked past the Venetian towers to the magic fountain of Montjuïc. At the time of filming, the fountain operates at 9:30 every day, except Mondays and Tuesdays, but make sure to check the official timings on their website before visiting. After enjoying the fountain show, we headed back to our hotel, bringing us to the end of our first day in beautiful Barcelona. To start off our second day in Barcelona, we headed again to the Venetian towers to see them in the daytime. These towers were modelled after the famous bell tower in Venice. Then, we continued walking straight ahead towards the National Art Museum of Catalonia. There are escalators that make it easy to get up there. However, you do have to climb a few stairs. The higher you go, the better the views of Barcelona behind you get. At the very top, you can visit the museum. However, just remember that they are closed on Mondays. We decided to walk around the left of the museum and down the road at the very back, which takes you to the main stadium that was used during the 1992 Summer Olympics here in Barcelona. The stadium is huge, with a capacity of 54,000 people. You can then explore the surroundings of the stadium, where we saw this really cool tower that we later found out was a telecommunications tower. After spending some time here, we decided to head further uphill towards the Montjuïc castle. There is a cable car you can take to get here. However, since we were already on the hill, we decided to just make the short uphill hike there. Montjuïc Castle is an imposing 17th century military fortress, standing 173 meters above sea level. We didn't go inside the castle itself, however there were expansive views from the castle over the surrounding harbour, and we could even see as far as the airport. You can walk around the outside of the castle walls for better views over the sea. We then began to walk down the hill into the centre of Barcelona, where we would be spending the rest of our day. The paths are a bit inconvenient, however it was easy enough to get down to the centre of the city using Google Maps. Soon, we re-entered the city again and joined La Rambla, Barcelona's 1.2-kilometre iconic pedestrian boulevard. We soon took a turn off though, to wander through some more picturesque squares as well as streets before we reached our lunch spot for the day, La Bubita Sangria. An entirely vegan restaurant, their most famous dish is their vegan paella, but they also have a large selection of starters. We got their vegetable paella and it was delicious. Don't get dessert here though, as there are a few famous spots nearby you should try. First is De Martini, and I really recommend the pistachio tiramisu here. Then, you should try the cheesecake from John Cake. We had the black sesame cheesecake and it was absolutely delicious. We then headed to the Arc de Triomphe. Unlike most European arches built to celebrate military victories, Barcelona's arch was built as the grand entrance for the 1888 Barcelona World Fair. On the opposite end is the Parc del Ciutadella, and the reason we visited was to see its most famous sight, the monumental fountain, designed by none other than Antoni Gaudi when he was a university student. It's truly breathtaking and so detailed, with its golden statue and turquoise blue waters, and you can also climb up the fountain and view it from the top. We then left the park and headed towards the beach, La Barceloneta. This is the iconic viewpoint of the beach with the W Hotel at the very end. You can spend some time here just relaxing by the beach. When you're ready to leave, head down the road again, walking by the promenade by the ocean, and the views here were incredible. Then, we took a small detour into the Elborn region to visit the Basilica de Santa Maria del Mar. Then, we grabbed this dessert that is truly a must-try when in Barcelona, the crema catalana. Similar to the creme brulee in France, it consists of custard topped with a layer of caramelized sugar, and I highly recommend that you try it. When you're done, head down to the seaside area again, where we decided to go over this really cool bridge to enter the Time Out Market, where I grabbed this pizza, and it was absolutely delicious. By the time we left, it was dark, and the sunset colours were magical as we headed back into town. We made sure not to miss the Christopher Columbus statue on the road, which shows Columbus pointing in the direction of the Mediterranean Sea, indicating the direction of his next voyage. Then we headed back into town when we saw this small store selling empanadas, a must-try while in Spain, so we decided to grab some. They were delicious, and there were also many vegetarian and vegan options, and this made the perfect end to our second day in Barcelona. On our final day in Barcelona, our first stop was Casa Battlo, designed in 1904 by Antoni Gaudi. We got our tickets for the earliest 9 a.m. slot, but there were still lots of people at that time. everyone gets an audio guide with information about each room as you move through the house, which is very informative and interesting, as it allows you to get inside Gaudi's head and understand his design choices. The interior was stunning as expected, with blue stained glass and curved wood, which was very stylistic and beautiful. There is an outside portion of the tour which I especially liked. My favourite part though was the staircase at the very end of the tour, with bright blue tiles as it was so beautiful and eye-catching. Next, you'll head through these stairs into the gift shop, which has a nice variety of souvenirs, before ending with an immersive projection in the Gaudi room, the world's first fully immersive 360-degree LED room. We then headed out of Casa Battlo and made the short walk to Casa Milà, another one of Gaudi's famous works in the area. We did not go inside this one, but you can definitely do so if you want to. Then, we headed to Churreria Trebol, perhaps the most famous churro shop in all of Barcelona, to try some of their stuffed churros, which I can confirm were absolutely delicious. We then returned to the Passeig de Gràcia, the largest shopping street in Barcelona, and walked the length of it towards La Plaza de Catalunya. One of the places I really wanted to go in Barcelona was this Sephora here, as it has a really cool slide that you can take to go all the way down into the store itself, and I highly recommend it. Another place you must visit here is Cake Me, to grab some 99-cent cheesecake, and you can also add toppings and sauces onto it for a low cost. There are many of these shops around Barcelona and they are perfect for a quick, tasty treat. Next, you want to head straight on to Barcelona Cathedral, in the Gothic quarter area of the city, and it's a Gothic cathedral constructed between the 13th and 14th century. In the same region, you have to visit the Pont del Bisbe, a bridge with a carving of a skull pierced by a dagger on the underside of the bridge. Don't look up at it while walking under the bridge though, as it is said to cause bad luck. The streets were very busy here. However, we actually came here on our last morning just before our flight, and it was practically empty, so come early in the morning if you want to see it without crowds. We then walked through the small alleyways for a while, admiring the buildings, when we reached the Palau de Musica Catalana. You can visit the foyer of the building for free, but going inside requires a ticket, but the architecture inside is just as stunning as outside. Then, it was finally time to take the short walk to the most iconic destination in Barcelona, and the grand finale of our trip, the Sagrada Familia. Seeing it in person after seeing so many photos of it online was truly surreal for me. It was so huge and so detailed. The world's tallest church, it is truly a feat of engineering. Construction began in 1882, and the full completion of the entire basilica is targeted for around 2034. When visiting, you simply must buy a ticket to go inside, which allows you to go even closer to the detailed exterior. The interior of the church is truly staggering. The stained glass windows allow orange and yellow lighting, which lights up the whole basilica and makes it look truly magical, and I imagine it would look even better at sunset. There are signs around the church that you can read to gain more information about the meaning behind the design and the construction process. You can truly spend hours inside, exploring all the tiny yet meaningful details. However, when you are done and decide to leave, make sure to go to the park opposite the road to get a beautiful view of the whole church. Then, we decided to walk to a viewpoint from which we could admire our last sunset in Barcelona. The original plan was actually to head to the bunkers del Carmel. However, the sunset was already happening, so we just decided to stop halfway and admire the view, and it was stunning. We walked back into the centre of the city to head to this vegan restaurant called Fat Veggies, where we had a very delicious and healthy meal. Then, we grabbed a taxi to head back to our hotel, bringing us to the end of our marvellous Barcelona trip. And that's a wrap on my Barcelona trip. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me and seeing everything I got up to. It was such an amazing experience, and I'm already looking forward to my next adventure. Also, just a quick note on the lack of videos recently. I've been really busy with my exams, which meant less time for filming and editing. But now that exams are over, there will be plenty more videos coming soon from the rest of my Spain trip, as well as other destinations, as we have many trips planned this month alone. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.